Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with a knife first impressions video for you. Today we have something we've been waiting a long time on. You guys think you waited a long time for the Para 3 lightweight? It's got nothing on this. I'm even making you wait for me to say the name of it. This is the Steel Will Tasso, the F12-01 if you want to be specific. There are going to be more versions coming. We'll talk briefly about that momentarily because I'll know more about that at Blade Show, I assume. But this knife has been in development for, at least 2 or 3 years when Steel Will first showed us their new ant-lock system, and we've all been waiting for it. It's here. It's finally here. It is currently, initially, only going to be available in this version and only on their own website. So it's $169.99, $170. Not bad at all for what you get. An M390 steel, G10, made in Italy. A very nice, well-finished knife. Very, very cool. And I'm so glad it's finally out. Been wanting to try this ant lock forever. I will say, a lot of people just think it's like an axis lock. It was a variation of that. I even heard some people speculating, and I kind of caught on to this speculation that, oh, maybe part of the reason why it was delayed was they were waiting for the axis lock patent to expire. No, this is nothing like an axis lock. It's completely different. It has ambidextrous thumb studs, but other than that, no similarities whatsoever. It's really more kind of a back lock that is actuated with your thumb, and it's a very cool system. I think it should be very strong. If you want to see more about it, I'm going to say right off the bat, I am not going to do a disassembly video on this. I was going to, but Epic Snuggle Bunny beat me to it, and you should definitely check out his video. I will link it down below, right below the first line in the description. I'm going to link to that. You should go to it. He did a full disassembly and give a very good explanation as to how it works. I did take it apart myself just to see it firsthand and try to adjust one thing we'll talk about later that I was not able to adjust. But it's a very cool, very unique system, and it's always cool to see something new and unique. Basically, this thumb stud is just actuating a spring that basically actuates a system kind of similar to a back lock, really, like I said. So pretty neat stuff. Overall, I love the look of this thing. It's got this really cool Bowie style blade, which is just great. You don't see that a whole lot on flippers. I mean, you just see it sometimes, but not a whole lot. And on what is definitely going to be, I think, a mainstream, high selling model, I just think that's really cool. Steel Will seems never afraid to do that. They're always kind of experimenting with blade shapes a little bit, and I do like them for that. Like even this is the Lanner, one of their less expensive models. It's not your conventional drop point. The Arcturus has a very unique blade shape. I just like that they're willing to experiment with unique blade shapes, and in this case a unique lock as well. The one thing I wish they would have done differently, well, we're just talking about the looks here before we get into specs and all that stuff. This bright orange backspacer, I mean, it looks fine. Just bright orange isn't my thing. Lately they've been doing all this red. So I kind of thought it would have the red. I do like the black and red. I thought it would have the red. It's orange. That's fine. And as I said, this is the only configuration it's available in right now. This is basically the full-size version with a 3.5-inch blade. I do know for certain there is a 3-inch blade version coming and some colors and all that stuff. I don't know when. Hopefully I'll find out more about it at Blade Show, which is when this knife is officially released. Yes, I did get it a bit early. If you're wondering, how did he get that? I always get, they did send it to a bit early, provided by the manufacturer, all that stuff. Yeah, they wanted to get it to me before Blade Show so I could get something out before then. So if you're at Blade Show, you can pick one up there, and then they'll be available on their website after that for $169.99. As I said, let's do some stats and some size comparisons before we get too much farther. Line this up here. These are 1-inch squares on this background. You have an overall length of just over 8 inches, like 8.1 inches. Blade length dead on 3.5 inches. Blade thickness 0.14 inches. Handle thickness of 0.6 inches. Pretty thick handle. Pretty in line with some of its competitors that you will see here in just a moment. And a weight of 4.16 ounces. And they get the golf clap because they say 4.16 ounces on their website, and that's exactly what I weighed on my scale. So good job there, guys. You always get the golf clap when you nail the weight. Now let's do some size comparisons. First of all, we will put it in our usual Spyderco sandwich. We have your Spyderco Paramilitary 2. You can see very, very, very similar in size to the PM2. And your Spyderco Para 3. Now, next up, these two are knives that are, I think this is definitely going to be competing against, and they are heady competition. And yes, I will do a comparison video between these three because I own all three and I plan on owning all three for a while. So we have your Benchmade Super Freak and your Hogue Doug Ritter RSK Mark II, the long name, the Hogue Ritter. Yeah, you can see very, very similar in size to those. M390, M390, M4. Yeah, they beg to be compared. I think this is like 160, 170, 180 something, 190. So yeah, they beg to be compared. They shall be. Do not worry about that. Don't know when I'll have that out. Definitely will be well after Blade Show, but we shall see. But first of all, I'll talk about this knife specifically. I've already talked about the looks and stuff. Quality-wise, it seems very well built. Speculation is it's made by Fox Knives. I'm not really sure about that. Can't say it's definitely made in Italy. It's fairly likely it's made by Fox, but very well done. I love the crowned blade and stuff. No sharp edges anywhere there shouldn't be. Everything is just nicely rounded. The G10 is very nice. It's clearly very high-end G10. Very, very nice. Very little metal liners in this. And you get that with a lot of backlock style knives. They just kind of don't need them. Very thick G10. All the pins do rest in the G10, every one of them. If that's something that bothers you, but I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. But, you know, some people go, oh, no, the pins are in the G10. Well, yes, those are your cold steel that you love so much, so don't sweat it. Most likely it is anyway. Yeah, as I said, full back spacer. Very nice construction, very nice quality. The only quality issue I have, and I think this will probably go away within a few days of carrying it once pocket lint fills in gaps and stuff, is, yeah, the Antlock actuation rattles a little bit. That's not great. I noticed that since I got out of the box. It's not something that, like, when I was actually using it, I ever noticed it rattling. It's just something that if I want to make it rattle, I can make it rattle. I did take it apart. There are some little tiny T6s to, I think, to remove these studs if you want to, because normally they just come off with the scales. I tried adjusting those. I couldn't make it go away. So, yeah, there's that. But, you know, I've had a couple Benchmades that rattled a little bit too, like that. So that's not the end of the world, but it is definitely worth noting for sure. Now, as far as the blade on this goes, yeah, I really like it. A problem I've had with a lot of Italian knives, and, you know, but this is the second Italian knife I've had in this week that actually didn't have this problem. Hopefully, maybe it's a thing that's going away. They're usually pretty thick behind the edge, a lot of the Italian-made knives. This one, not so much. 24 thousandths. It's not a laser beam, you know, it's not one of these, you know, Wee knives you get that are 15, 16 thousandths behind the edge, but it's not bad. And it's got a very high flat grind. Slices very well. M390, like I said, you cannot complain about the blade steel at all. I think the blade steel is outstanding on it. So, yeah, that $170 M390, what can you complain about? And I love this blade shape. I just think it is the sexiest looking thing. I love a good Bowie anyway, and this is just really nice. It's not a super extreme Bowie, you know, where you get a tiny little tip. It's still got a very good tip on it. Super sharp out of the box, all that stuff. It's excellent blade on this thing. Next category, also excellent. The ergonomics on this thing are outstanding. No matter where you grip it, can't feel that pocket clip at all. And man, it's so comfortable. Yeah, the handle's a bit thick, but so it is also on the Super Freak and the Ritter that I just showed you. Both of them have thick handles as well. And you know what? The candles feel good in your hand, man. They're comfortable. They're comfortable for sure. And oh, this is a pleasure to put in your hand. I love that you can choke up really well on it. That is definitely an advantage it has over the Super Freak and the and the Ritter. I like to be able to choke up sometimes, and this one you can't. The jimping is excellent. I have zero complaints ergonomically with this thing. It fits my hand extremely well. Yes, it does have finger grooves. Some people are always like, oh, the finger grooves might not fit your hand right. They're pretty big. They're pretty generous. I can't fathom that that's going to be a problem for anybody. I mean, I have skinny fingers, but I got plenty of room in all those finger grooves. So, yeah, not only does it look cool with the finger grooves, they work well. Ergonomically is just, it's just outstanding ergonomically. As far as the carry goes, I'll pull out ye old Wranglers here and try not to let too much stuff fall down. I had them underneath my keyboard. I have to put my keyboard aside when I film this, so we will slap them in here. Ye old Wranglers. Slides in and out very easy. Good tension. It is not deep carry at all. I wish it was, but it isn't. You know, no flipper tab, so nothing sticking out. It does carry very well. Like I said, I do just wish it had a slightly deeper carry clip, but the clip itself works extremely well. So if you don't care about deep carry, then you're not going to care at all. Both the Hogue and the Ritter, I'm already starting to do the comparison. I haven't done it yet. Both the other two at least have deep carry options if don't come with it. One thing I don't understand when it comes to carry is they designed a very ambidextrous lock, not an ambidextrous clip. Don't really get that. Seems like it would have been pretty easy just to put a couple more holes and a couple more little pieces of metal here in the G10 so that you could flip that clip, because it's a very ambidextrous deployment. I don't get it. As far as the action goes, it rockets right out when you don't hit yourself in the hand with it. There's not a detent per se, you know, because it is a kind of a backlocky sort of design. I hate to keep saying backlock, but that's the easiest thing to compare it to. Snaps right out, just thumb stud deployment. Doesn't need anything more than that. I will say, on Snuggle Bunny's video, he had his for a few weeks, and his was much more drop shutty than mine, and he mentioned it took a while to break in. This is only hours old, so I can't really comment, you know, on that. But it is getting a lot smoother just in the day playing with it. Yeah, you can see, you got to get a little bit of rest, but it'll drop. It's not super drop shutty like a Benchmade or anything like that, but I think it's going to get close to it once it gets broken in. I have taken it apart and lubed it up, but that didn't really make much difference. It was actually very clean and very well lubed out of the box, so I didn't expect it to make a big difference. But yeah, there you go. If you get a little rest and you time it right, it's much like an Axis lock in that you got to time it right, or it'll bounce off, or you know, or not catch. And you can also open it via the ant lock, which is cool. I think once it breaks in a little bit more, it's gonna be very, very fiddly and fun and fidgety, and I'm gonna like that a lot. Right now, it's a little stiff, but it's breaking in. Centering and stuff is great though. No problems there. And I took it apart, put it back together, super easy. It didn't have to be super, like, you know, be really careful about how much tension was on the pivot screw or anything. It just worked. Very, very nice that way. I guess that's kind of my conclusion on this. It's very, very nice. I really like it. That rattly lock, I didn't see Snuggle Bunny mention it in his. This might just be mine. I know a couple other reviewers that have them. I will ask them if they have that problem. But that's a minor little nitpick. And like I said, it's such fine tolerances. I think a couple weeks in my pocket, it's probably going to collect enough dirt and schmutz that it's going to stop rattling. But very, very cool knife, and glad to see. It's just new. It's a brand new lock design that no one's seen before, coming from a company that I like a lot. And does seem to be, especially with their new offerings, willing to push some boundaries. And I like that. Good for them. And I hope to see more like this. And $170, completely reasonable asking price for what you're getting. Totally reasonable. So go check it out. It's at steelwillknives.com. As I said, you're only going to be able to buy it on their website for now anyway. I don't know if they're ever going to be available more places like the rest of their knives are. Right now, they're just keeping it for themselves to sell. But go check it out, steelwillknives.com, the Tasso F12-01. Thumbs up. Very, very cool. Hope to see more of them. I've been Brian. Have a good one.